August the 3rd, 2019. This is going to be our latest, what's this, episode 8 of our top 20 memories. And this is one particular game. We're looking at one particular game here, August the 3rd, 2019. And that was the period before Robin Fraser, after Anthony Hudson. It was while Connor Casey was still in charge, and the Rapids.
You want me to remember something that was how many years back?
It was only 3 years ago. Only 3 years ago. Montreal Impact. Yeah, there's been a few bumps to the noggin. Kai Kamara got an own goal.
Okay.
And then went on to score a hat-trick. Jack Price got a hat-trick of assists. Evan Bush scored an own goal for Montreal to make it 1-1. So a hat-trick for Kai Kamara, a hat-trick of assists for Jack Price. A 6-3 win for the Rapids at home. First time they'd scored more than 5. Their only time they've ever scored 6 in a game. And it kind of ties in nicely with the game that we saw last night.
Yeah.
5-4, another 9 goals. It's kind of, there's something in the water this time of year. 6-3, Kai Kamara with a hat-trick. And we've not seen many of those at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. And clearly it was a high-scoring game as well.
You know, I'm still hoping someone breaks that 7-4 record that we played in. So I can stop talking about it. To see 9 goals in a game, it just shows how wonderfully both teams defended, how both teams went forward. I mean, I don't know. It's weird to think that 9 goals in a game, just like the other night, 9-5-4. But I think we've seen a lot of that this year. Unfortunately, 8 goals the other day in one game, another 8 goals in the Cincinnati-Miami game. But I'm surprised, I'll be honest, that with the altitude that it hasn't affected more teams, that there isn't more goals at Mile High.
And let's be honest here. There's been a lot of chatter over the last few days as the Rapids went into that Red Bulls game. It was. Yeah. It was kind of coming full circle. It had been Robin Fraser's first game in charge back on August 31st, 2019. So that was later in the month. This game against Montreal, still under the guidance of interim head coach Connor Casey. And let's not forget the part that Connor Casey played in that transformation in 2019. Yes, Robin Fraser came in last 7 games and obviously has gone on to build something very special. But Connor Casey, and he was the guy at the helm for this 6-3 game.
I think when we go back, and again, I think Anthony Hudson was almost running blind. He didn't have many assistant coaches who I think Sharpie was the only one that really knew the league at that point. There was a transition, and I remember when we were out of practice a few times, and just the simplicity of what Connor Casey was doing, of getting them back organized, structured, of how they wanted to defend, how they wanted to move into the attack. And I think the players understood. And you saw, and I think we talked about this a bit, little by little, we saw the difference of a team growing with confidence, a team that knew how to defend better, a team that had a little bit better of a concept and of how they wanted to play. So, again, I think Connor Casey did a nice job. I think that at the time, Pork had to make a decision. He made the right decision, bringing in a Robin Fraser with all the experience that he has as an assistant coach, championships, and stuff like that. And again, look where this club sits now, almost 3 years later.
I remember Porrick Smith saying at the time when they allowed Hudson to go. That the side was not an. I think they went on to become an 0-9-2 side. They obviously took a couple of games to get going under Connor Casey. So tell me this: having gone from a side that was struggling 2018, 2019, with pretty much the same players, because from a layman outside you say, well, sometimes teams can be overcoached. Sometimes, it's a simple game. Sometimes we overcomplicate it. But they were the same players that turned that season around and weren't too far away from making the playoffs in 2019. So what does change in the locker room? Is it confidence? Is it tactics? Because clearly those players already have ability. So what
Yeah.
changed?
I think like anything else, listen, and I like Anthony Hudson. I think he struggled a little bit here trying to play a system that a lot of players couldn't understand. Unfortunately, I think Connor went back to, and Robin went back to, this is how we're going to play. This is what you need to do. And he made it very, very clear of what the roles were on the field, what each position had to do in order for this to work together as a group. So when you go back, I think Connor Casey did a nice job of making life a little simpler for the players and breaking it down. Robin took it to the next step very clearly. These are the profiles. I'm not going to stop you. And I think one of the things I remember Robin saying is, I'm not going to stop them from doing what they do well. And that's running and pressing and fighting for 90 minutes. He just added organization. He added a very clear message of what this team was going to be and what this club was going to be. And when you do that, you can start moving players into certain positions and playing them in their strengths.
And look, clearly, when you win games like that, you win high-scoring games. But as we saw at Red Bull Arena, at 6-3, you're still giving up 3 goals.
Yeah.
You've won the game. And look, from the outside, we all want to see goals. In any sport, we want to see home runs, we want to see touchdowns, we want to see, goals, baskets, whatever it is. But from a coaching standpoint, in a 6-3 game, are you kind of, yeah, very good, lads, you got the 3 points, but
right there,
we're going to be working on some things tomorrow.
Well, listen, first, Robin will have a little bit more gray hair. This is from coaching 14s. Robin's got his from coaching the first team. Listen, here's the deal. You're always going to have hiccups. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days as a player. Unfortunately, I think Lalas was probably one of the worst games we've seen him play.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah.
Okay. It happens. It happens. You just got to move on from that. But Robin made the right adjustments. And when you look at that and you say to yourself, okay, today was probably one of the worst defensive games we've played in a while, but we outscored the opponent by 1 more to take 3 points. You can somewhat live with that, because now going back, it's a few little tweaks here, a few little tweaks there, and you're okay. And I think Robin said it to us a few times. We were waiting for that game. We were waiting for that game where we could score that 3rd, that 4th, that 5th goal. Well, he got it. Unfortunately, he had to give up 4 goals to get 5. But again, I don't think you'll see this again in the next 11, 12 games, because of the fact that, again, it doesn't happen too often. It happened, you go back, you fix it. Now, the problem is, do you fix it against Minnesota with 5 in the back? Or do you fix it with Minnesota with 4 in the back? And do you keep Viasias and do you keep Wilson together? Or do you give Lawless an opportunity to come back and redeem himself? I think those are harder decisions for me as a coach than it is worried about a 5-4 win.
And so, obviously, these two have kind of collided. The 6-3 against Montreal, the 5-4 against the Red Bulls, just 3 years and a day apart. But do you get stuck into the team a little bit defensively? I mean, look, because you want that. If you're looking for that, let me correct myself there. This is a side, and I'm going to bring it back to present day. This is a side that has been looking for the complete performance.
Yeah,
that wasn't a complete. Look, you say, how can you be moaning? How can you be complaining? How can you be picking holes when you got 3 points? But if you're looking for a complete performance,
I'm telling you right now, I'm on the plane, I'm having a beer, or I'm having champagne. We celebrate the fact that we won 100 games on the road. We celebrate that we scored 5 goals, and it took us 5 goals to beat the Red Bulls on the road. You start thinking about Minnesota tomorrow, but you enjoy this victory, because winning 100 games on the road is not an easy feat. It's historical for this club. So you enjoy that. You go back and you can fix a few things, but to bite into a team that just won, no, you enjoy it. You embrace it, and you go back and you rework everything tomorrow. You start looking at maybe little tweaks here, a little tweak there defensively, but 100% you got to go and enjoy this and have a nice little drink with your coaching staff.
I'm playing a little bit devil's advocate here. I know. Because as a defender, you see all the, and we go back to the 6-3 Montreal, Kai Kamara getting the hat-trick, but that is that sense of pride. It's like, yeah, well, we want to be able to do our job. You guys are scoring, great, But it's like keeping that, it's like being 5-0 up and then conceding late on. You want to keep that clean sheet. You want to play your part in an all-round performance.
If Colorado the other night would have given up that 5th goal and they would have tied 5-5, then I could see Robin biting into him. I could, or the 6, or for that game would have turned out 6-6 or 3-3. You know what I mean? But listen, it's goals come off mistakes. That's just reality. Somewhere, somehow, a goal is going to come from a mistake somewhere. So can you fix that mistake? Can you point it out in video modern day now with all the data they have? 100% they can. So I was happy on a Tuesday night that there was 9 goals. Everybody was watching that game. It showed how hard Colorado had to fight, scratch to crawl back into a game. I think it showed a strong mentality. I think it showed intelligence of when to make the subs, not waiting when it was too late from Robin to taking Lawless out at halftime. I thoroughly think you should enjoy it and just move past it and get ready for Minnesota.
Absolutely. So as we look at those 2 games colliding, 6-3 against Montreal, one of the biggest scoring games, highest scoring games that we've certainly seen in our time, August 3rd, 2019, and then bringing it all the way up August 2nd, 2022, and the Rapids with a 5-4 win on the road at the Red Bulls. Next up, episode 9, we're going to be looking at some of the best young talent that we've seen during our 10 seasons in the booth. Until then, bye for now.